Does Mr. Roy seek recognition?
To speak on the amendment.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank the chair. The gentleman from Kentucky is absolutely right. Much like the debate that we were having earlier with respect to having exceptions. Obviously, I've got strong concerns, as already discussed, about the age in the first place. And the gentleman from Kentucky was appropriately raising that with respect to draft considerations. The chairman is positing multiple, I think, theories as to why we should not permit individuals aged 18 to shy of 21 to, possess a semi-automatic weapon. I would note that when I turned 18, that my high school graduation gift was a semi-automatic 45. I still have that weapon today. I was somehow managed to get through my years of 18, 19, and 20, neurologically impaired as I might have been, to get through legally and without harming anyone. The point here is, obviously, I think most of my colleagues on my side of the aisle, certainly the gentleman from Kentucky, I know myself, we oppose the age restriction on constitutional grounds. The fact that we believe, irrespective of what the Ninth Circuit says, is unconstitutional. You're an adult. You're afforded the rights under the Constitution. But in this case, we're saying, well, good gracious, can't we at least ensure that spouses, and as the gentleman from Florida said, particularly female spouses of the members of the military, are afforded the ability to have a semi-automatic weapon to defend themselves. It is, by all accounts, the most available and most used tool for self-defense in our country. And we talk about, we've talked about the constitutional language and Heller and otherwise about the weapons that were, common, the common weapons, or the wording's not exactly right, it's not in front of me. That's the common weapon, right? Today, the 9mm. In the past, it might have been a 45 or it might have been a 38 revolver. Today, it's usually, I think, by and large, a 9mm semi-automatic pistol. Long guns are great. I'm going to address that issue a little bit later, but long guns afford one option. If you've got a shotgun, gives you a good blast range to defend yourself, but it's not as easily acquired. You can keep a 45 on you or near you or next to the bedside, as many Americans do. And to restrict an 18, 19, 20-year-old adult who's given the right to vote, who is given all the rights that come and all the responsibilities that come with being an adult, raises serious concerns and reservations. And I think the gentleman from Kentucky is absolutely right to raise this issue, particularly for the spouses of our members of the military. But there'd be multiple people that you would think through, hey, this is a problem, that you're unable to actually defend yourself, despite being an adult and engaging in the world as an adult. And with that, I would be happy to yield to the gentleman from Kentucky if he would like any time.
I have no other.
Mr. Roy, if you
comments.
yield, I'd just like to just raise one issue with you. It's Mr. Cicilline.
I'll yield to you. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I think it's important to recognize that we already prohibit persons under 21 from purchasing a handgun. And so under this bill, adults under 21 would still be able to purchase other rifles or shotguns for hunting and recreational shooting. And I think it's because these assault weapons have become more and more lethal. They're the weapon of choice in mass killings, and 6 times as many people die in mass shootings that involve this sort of assault rifles, that raising the age to 21, I think, makes perfect sense. So I just want to be sure that handgun prohibition, you were aware of it, and which is why this, again, is just being sure that that's in line with these very dangerous weapons.
Well, I think reclaiming my time for 40 seconds left. What my point was that I've got the ability, and I had the ability at 18 to be able to have a weapon, a semi-automatic handgun. And I believe, as we're talking about the rights of an 18-year-old, that an 18-year-old should have that right. They should have the right to have any weapon that's available, that's publicly available, because they're an adult and they're afforded those rights. That's the point about being able to defend yourself. And any exception that we can put out there from a policy that is a wrong-headed policy is something that we should pursue. And with that, I'll yield back.
Could I have your remaining 10 seconds?
Yeah, sure. Go.
The point here is if you're spouse of a military person who's deployed overseas, it doesn't pass constitutional muster in any way, shape, or form to say the only gun you can have is a gun that's designed for hunting squirrels to defend your house and your children. And I urge the adoption of this amendment.
The gentleman yields back. Does anyone else seek recognition?